Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia and welcome back to the Overwatch League Roundup 2020, Team of Week 19. So we haven't actually done a Team of the Week in quite a while because I didn't do a Team of the Week for the May Melee because I was actually ill, so I couldn't do it. And so we haven't actually had a Team of the Week in 3-4 weeks, which is, we've been missing it, haven't we? But we are back to normal schedule now. We are back to fixtures, and that means there is a Team of the Week for Week 19. So this has been a really interesting week because I have been. It's been a difficult one to do Team of the Week this week because I watch the Overwatch League and then I go through the highlights again to try and make my picks as accurate as I think I can be, in my opinion. And this week I've got so many names. Like, so many names on my list. So it's been really difficult to narrow these down. I've got, say, like 6 supports, 2 off tanks, 2 main tanks, and goodness knows, like 10 DPS players. So it's been really difficult, but I have narrowed it down to a list. But there are a lot of honourable mentions in this one, so we're going to get straight to it. It's kind of the main support role, but yeah, whatever. The Lucio role, basically, this week, because it's mainly been playing Lucio, sometimes been playing Baptiste, sometimes been playing Mercy on odd occasions, but this week I have given this to the LA Gladiators and Big Goose, because Big Goose is always consistent, isn't he? I think Big Goose and Shaz, the Gladiators, are one of the most consistent support lines that we see in the league. They never go up or down, they're always there, they have been for years now. And it's really good for the Gladiators to be able to base themselves off of that. But Big Goose really did well this week. He was really consistent. We saw him on a variety of different heroes. We saw him on a Lucio a lot. He was getting really good value out of it. He was getting boops. He was protecting his backline. His beats were on point. He also played the Ana at one point, which was also very serviceable. And he played the Mercy on, I think it was Ilios, to pocket Mirror. So I really liked Big Goose's play this week, and honestly, this was the role that was the hardest to pick for me this week because it was the role that I didn't see anyone massively stand out in, and I might be wrong on that, but I didn't see anyone massively stand out in. The only other honorable mention I have is Rain of the Los Angeles Valiant. Yes, we're staying in LA. Rain did very well for the Valiant this week. They obviously got that comprehensive 3-0 over the Washington Justice. So I am going to give it to Big Goose this one, but the next support slot is the one that I've had a lot of and ahhing over. So I had 4 players that were in line for this. Gangnam Jin of the Florida Mayhem, Jonak of the NYXL, Fielder of the Paris Eternal, and Kariv of the Toronto Defiant. And I have decided to go with Kariv, simply because I think without Kariv, the Toronto Defiant wouldn't have been as dominant as they were. Kariv, his Zen is just nasty. It really is. And when you've got a Zen that can, and this goes for Jonak in the inaugural season, when you've got a Zen that can just output crazy amounts of damage, it's like having another DPS with a bit of healing on top, and it just adds so much more to the team. And I think Kariv got extremely good value this week. He was actually picked as player of the match for that match. And when you look at players of the matches, if that makes any sense, but when you look at the players of the match, and it's something that grates on me in the Overwatch League a lot, the casters pick it, right? But when you look at them, very often it's a DPS player. I have seen weeks where all of the player of the matches have been DPS players. And this week, you look at it, and I think all but Kariv were DPS players. I think. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's something like that. It was all but 2. And it grates on me, because I think supports and tanks can go very can get looked over a lot of the time when it comes to best player awards. But I am going to give it to Kariv this time around, but it's by no means putting down Gangnam Jin, Jonak or Fielder. There were plenty of good plays this week. A lot of people came back refreshed, and a lot of people looked really good. So yeah, I am going to give it to Kariv though. But we're moving on to our tank line now, and we're going to start with the off tank. And I had 2 people for this one. Honorable mention to Fury. Fury did well Nevix did well. I also want to shout out Numlocked as well, because the tank line of Toronto Defiant really manhandled Vancouver this week. Really manhandled them, so they were really good. But in the off-tank role, I'm going to give it to Hotbar. Hotbar's Roadhog and Hotbar's Sigma were really good for the NYXL this week, and it was a very big reason why they got such a comprehensive 3-0 over Seoul Dynasty. Let's gloss over the fact that the Seoul Dynasty didn't play the comp that they're the most strongest at most of the time. But Hotbar is always very consistent, but I think this week he stood out especially. I loved him on the Roadhog. His Roadhog is just, lovely. And his Sigma is always really good. We didn't see any Diva because Diva doesn't exist at the moment, but he was really good this week, so I'm going to give it to Hotbar, and I think he was an integral part of that win over the Seoul Dynasty. But my honourable mention actually is from a team that lost. So this is Punk from the Boston Uprising. And there's a few honourable mentions for Boston Uprising this time around, because Boston, yes, they didn't win, but they took Paris really close. And I think if it wasn't for Sparkle, then Paris wouldn't have won. So I am very impressed with Boston Uprising since Punk has come in. When you look, since Punk has come in, Boston Uprising's performances have gone through the roof. They've been so much better than they have been for the rest of the season. Now, Color Hex and that are starting to click. Punk seems to have added something to this roster, and he was really good this week on the off-tank. He was really good on the off-tank this week, and he didn't look outdone by Hanbin. And Hanbin looked a bit off at times. So we know Hanbin was really good when he came into the league. It's kind of fallen off a little bit now, but to go toe-to-toe with someone like Hanbin, it's really good. And I think Punk was really good this week, so I didn't want to leave him out. And I think he really does deserve an honourable mention. But moving on to our main tank role, and it's a familiar face in this one. It's Fearless. So Fearless comes in for the third time. He's a revelation, isn't he? He was part of the 0 and 40 Shanghai Dragons, and now he's part of the Shanghai Dragons at the top of the league. Fearless, it's just crazy, but what stood out to me so much with Fearless against the London Spitfire is the value he was getting from Primal Rage. So many times he was getting a kill, but most of the times he was getting 2 kills from his Primal Rages. He was getting so much value from his Primal Rages. He knows exactly when to disengage. He knows exactly when to engage. He is so good on that main tank right now. He's looking so good on the Winston. And honestly, he's got to be up there as one of the best main tanks in the league, if not the best main tank in the league. And I don't think we would have been... I don't think anyone expected to be saying that at the start of this season. That when Fearless was signed to the Shanghai Dragons, we were all like, oh, nice, backup main tank to Stand 1. Well, actually, he's not. He's by far better than Stand 1. The stats are there to prove it. So Fearless, once again, is in the main tank, because no one else really stood out. No Smite was good for the Paris Eternal, but again, he was not overly outstanding over fusions, and that's something. But no one else really stood out like Fearless to me this week. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Fearless. But that brings us on to the DPS, and I'm just gonna read out the list of names I've got for the DPS role this week. Soon, Fletter, Nene, Jerry, BQB, Sparkle, Color Hex, Carpe, KSB, Hisu, and Shax. I have got a ton of names. Everyone has been really good. Shax's Tracer is actually bonkers. But I've kind of narrowed it down to the two I want. And it's the 2 that I think made the most impact for their teams. So my more hit scanny role is going to go to BQB. Now, BQB lit up the kill feed for the Florida Mayhem against the Dallas Fuel. And we expected the Dallas Fuel to come into this and give them a good go, and most of it would be dominated. Well, most of it would be Decay in the spotlight, and it wasn't. The person who was in the spotlight wasn't Yaki, wasn't Decay, wasn't Doha. It was BQB. All the time, BQB is actually a revelation right now for this Florida Mayhem side. It started off as Yaki, and BQB is a support role, but in that Dallas Fuel match, it looked like Yaki was more of the supporting DPS to BQB, which is actually crazy. Now, yes, that could be because Yaki doesn't have access to his Echo right now, but BQB was really good this week. He completely outdid Decay, and that's no mean feat considering the form that Decay has been on recently. So I was really, really impressed with BKB. And I think he deserves that spot this week over some other people. But I was close to giving it to Nene. Jerry obviously was really, really good. Carpe was really good. Hisu was good. But I can't give it to anyone else but BKB right now. But the more utility, the more projectile roll. This was a difficult one. Because we've seen some double hit scan comps as well this week. So it's kind of difficult. Fletter's been good. Color Hex has been darn good this week. I really want to mention Color Hex. He's been. This is probably the best week I've seen Color Hex have. Put it that way. I think if he can maintain that sort of form, he's definitely on the road to becoming a much better DPS, or having much better impact as a DPS than he has been throughout his time at the Boston Uprising. And that could be down to Punk. I don't know. But obviously, Shax was good, KSP was good, Carpe, Hisu, they were all good. But I have to give it to the player that made the difference to the team, in my opinion, and allowed his team to win. And it's the debutant. It's Sparkle. Now, I can already sense the comments. Why are you giving it to Sparkle? He's only had 1 week in the league. But did anyone see Sparkle's blades? I fully believe that if that had been Nico and Soon, I think Paris lose that match. I really, really do. The match was narrow, and I don't think it was necessarily because Paris were bad. I think it's because Boston have been improving. And so, if they didn't have Sparkle and it had been Nico and Soon, who is a pairing that is not bad, but I'm not convinced about, the way that Color Hex and Color Hex and Jerry stepped up, I think they would have been outdone. So Sparkle added the extra spice, the extra Genji spice, the extra Doomfist spice at times as well, to this Paris Eternal roster to get them past that really tricky Boston Uprising game. And that's why he gets my spot for Team of the Week here. And again, we're not taking away anything from these other players, because it has been a really, really difficult week to do Team of the Week. There have been so many good players. There's only a few teams that haven't had mentions. Seoul, London. You know, there's not many teams that haven't had mentions, but I don't think I've ever given as many honourable mentions to players that have been on the losing side as I have to Boston Uprising this week, because Punk, Jerry, and Color Hex really, really were good this week. They really were good. But yeah, that's my Team of the Week for this week. So Big Goose, Kareev, Hopper, Fearless, BKB, and Sparkle. Congratulations to Sparkle for his debut into the Team of the Week in his first week in the league, and I am sure this is not the last I'm going to see a Sparkle in this Team of the Week. He is such a good player. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then.